Hello, my fellow comic book collectors. Today's another episode of the Price Variance, and today we're going to do something really special. We're going to look at artists and artists that we really love, and we're going to have Mark go first. He's going to talk about his artist of choice and show everybody who they are. Hopefully they are somebody exciting and awesome and somebody that we don't have to censor. So yeah, let's see what Mark has to offer. Okay, who's your artist?
Mine do not need to be censored. Okay, so I'm gonna challenge you a bit at the start by doing a bit of a guess who to see if you can guess who this is. So I'm going to show you a comic, and it is unique for a given reason. Okay, and it is to do with the artist. So I'm going to show you this comic. I'm going to cover up the name of the artist. It is not the cover artist. So
that makes it hard.
It is Batman 12 from the New 52. It is a nice cover, but it's not. This is not by the artist.
An homage to the artist, at least, or something that I could guess.
Okay, so it's well. First of all, what is special about this comic? It's the first something.
I can't even tell. It's bad. I remember you're really small because I'm watching you on my phone.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll tell you. It's Batman 12 from the New 52. I think if you knew, you'd tell me. This is first. This is the first ever female artist on the main Batman comic.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah.
Female artist. Wow.
So it's a female artist, and this is the first ever comic with a female artist on the interior art of doing the main comic.
Wow.
Okay, so it is a bit of a special issue, and it's quite interesting that this took until 2012 before there was a female artist on Batman.
Wow, that's maybe because women don't gravitate towards Batman. I don't know.
Maybe. Anyway, the artist and the artist who it was the first female artist on this is my artist this week. And I
have no idea who it is.
It's Becky Cloonan. Have you heard of her?
Never heard of her.
Never heard of her. You will recognize some of her art, I think.
Okay,
so Becky Cloonan, she was born in Pisa in Italy, but since her birth, she has become an American citizen, and she currently lives in Austin, Texas. How do I know this? Because I met her last Saturday.
Oh wow! Oh, at the the Thought Bubble, right?
Yeah, we've got a comic convention called Thought Bubble in Harrogate in Yorkshire, which is mainly about artists and writers and creators. Now, I'd had taken some comics up to get signed by Becky, so this one is signed by Becky. This is one of the ones that I took up. She was the first ever female artist on the main Batman run, written by Scott Snyder, and she was the artist.
Wow.
So she's been around. She went to the New York art school, and she was always interested in drawing comics. And she started as many do doing indie comics. And her first big success was in 2004 with a comic which was written by Brian Wood called Demo. Now I've got all these on order. The demo. Yeah,
that's the way I do it.
But they haven't arrived yet. So I will put up an image when I do the editing. I will put an image up for Demo, and she did win an Eisner. She did get nominated for 2 Eisner Awards, and it was voted the best indie comic of 2005 by Wizard magazine at the time. So she's got a good grounding. I'm going to show you some of her cover artwork. So that wasn't her on the cover there, and I will put up some of the interior artwork from that Batman comic because it is pretty impressive. And for me, she can draw Batman whenever she likes. Here is a recent comic where she has done the cover for a Batman comic. This is Batman Black and White #4. Again, I have this signed by
I know that cover. Yeah, I've seen that cover.
Yeah,
I think I actually bought that cover, believe it or not.
Yes,
that's
lovely.
Really nice. Yeah,
it's a really good cover, signed by Becky last weekend. and that's fairly recent because it's from the Batman Black and White, which is a really nice series. I'm collecting that one. She is also she started doing her own writing as well in about 2014, I think. So now she's one of these people that does the art, but also does the writing. And actually, her partner is also a comic writer, a guy called Michael Conrad. And they are currently doing Wonder Woman.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
The black and gold series, or
no, it's just before that. So this is Wonder Woman 779.
And that's her artwork?
That's her artwork, yeah. And she's also written it together with her partner, Michael Conrad. So this is actually signed by both Becky and Michael Conrad. So it's a double signed edition of Wonder Woman 779. I've got a bit more cover artwork here. This is for the Aquaman 80th anniversary. Is the 100-page super spectacular, and she did one of the variant covers for this. Really nice Becky Cloonan.
I'm sort of getting her style. Like,
yes,
after seeing the
yeah.
few,
Once you've got it, you do. It's one of these artists. Once you've got her style, you can see it. Mm-hmm. Right, next up, another cover that she did, a variant cover for one of for a series we've talked about before, which is Basket Full of Heads by Joe Hill. She did the variant artwork for this issue, issue number 4. Really nice artwork.
That's the first series, right?
Yes, that's the first series. Yeah. She also did the artwork. There was a series called Reaver from Image, which I bought because Becky did the artwork, did the cover artwork for the series. I have to say that Becky's cover artwork is the only reason for buying this comic. I don't like the interior artwork, and I didn't particularly like the story. But the the cover artwork by Becky is the best thing about it. And I'm going to show some of these. Issue number 1 is the one I got this signed by Becky last weekend. Really
I've
nice.
actually seen that book and that series before. I didn't pick it up, but
yeah, well, I don't. The reason for buying this is Becky's cover artwork. And it was a 6-issue series, and each of the covers by Becky is really nice. Number 2, number 3, but the internal artwork and the storyline, no, but I really like.
That's the problem with a lot of the modern comics. The interior art is terrible. It's like almost like done by a child or something. I don't know what's going on.
I mean, these are dollar bin comics, quite right.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Apart from Becky's artwork. Okay, so
did you get those all signed though?
I got the first one signed. You know, when you go to these things, you can, you know.
Yeah, you bring a stack and then they'll like hate you.
Yeah, I tried to limit it to 5 or 6 comics each. James Tynion was there, and I took about 7 or 8 comics for Tynion. But there was a guy in front of me when the first time I went through, had a whole suitcase full of comics. So
I've seen that before. I was behind some guy with a trolley. It's like, what the hell?
But Tynion, I think Tynion did it right, because what he was doing was saying, I'm happy to sign 5 comics for you for free.
Yeah.
But if you want any more after that, you've got to pay. I think he was charging £10 a comic. So this guy with the suitcase in front of me kept going round the queue.
Oh man! Just so they could get all the free.
So when I was queuing behind him, he was in his 9th time round the queue.
Okay.
I mean,
and Tynion didn't mind. He must have.
Well,
said,
no,
hey,
the guy queued up each time, so I
Okay.
suppose he felt it was okay.
Cool. One way of doing it.
So this is a series. I didn't get these signed by Becky because they arrived after I'd gone. But this is a series she did. She wrote it and she did the cover artwork. She didn't do all the interior artwork. She did some of it, but she wrote it as well. And this is a series from Image from 2014, I think, called Southern Cross. I haven't read this yet. I haven't read it. It was a really cheap pickup, so I got 14 copies of this for £19, so less than cover price.
So now you can have giveaways. You can use them for giveaways or something.
But you know, again, you can see Becky's style in the artwork on the cover of this, and some of the back covers are really quite nice as well.
Did she do the back cover as well? Or?
I think she did do some of the back covers, yes. Because this is creator owned, so she owned this. Here we go, and this, you know, you can see the style here, and this is a typical Becky Cloonan type cover with the eyes and the face, very large eyes. It's a bit manga-esque.
Yeah, it seems like she likes to dominate the cover with the face.
Yeah, she does.
Seems to be...
it is quite manga-esque. Right. Okay. Different. Now, my favorite Becky Cloonan thing that I've got, I didn't know about until I went to Thought Bubble, and she was doing, you know, they have these panels, and there was a panel about how to write horror comics. So James Tinian was on the panel, Becky Cloonan was on the panel, and Becky's partner Michael Conrad was on the panel. And, you know, they had questions about, you know, how do you build suspense and so on and so forth. Anyway, Becky said, and they were all asked, what's your favourite horror film? And Becky Cloonan said it was...
then you forget.
Company of Wolves. I don't know if you've ever watched that. It's a really great film.
Is that the one where they go to like some Nazi castle?
No. It's a sort of retelling of Little Red Riding Hood, but very dark. And it's got Angela Lansbury in it. Angela Lansbury is brilliant in it as the grandmother. Yeah.
Wow. That's interesting. I know Angela Lansbury. I wouldn't associate with her with horror, but
no. Well, she's actually probably one of the best actresses in it. So I recommend Company of Wolves if you've never seen it. Anyway, the reason I mention that is Becky did a series of self-published short stories, and she put them together as a self-published trade paperback, which is called By Chance or Providence. And it is fantastic. On the reviews on the back, one of the reviews says, Becky Cloonan's trilogy of self-published stories conjures a stunningly beautiful world of heartache, horror, and despair. By Chance or Providence is the kind of book prized by those fortunate enough to own a copy. It really is brilliant.
So you've read all those stories?
Yeah, I've read all the. I mean, it's just one of the great things about this is we've got an artist writer here, so you get a sort of synergy between the writing and the artwork.
And the art, which is rare.
So the art begins to tell the story because it's the same person doing the You know, it's it really is sumptuous stuff. Really,
I can see that
good.
She really loves that face in the form, really strong.
She does. Yeah, you know this, and then there's a sketchbook at the back with some sketch work in it. I'm going to get a second copy of this. This is actually I bought this off Becky. She signed it for me. I bought it off her table, so you can see.
Oh, nice. I like her signature. It's very cool.
Yeah, it is cool. She's done me a little heart as well.
Does that count as like an original sketch or?
I don't know. So yeah, you know.
I'll probably try to find it. I'll
Yeah,
look for
I
that book.
really recommend you get. I'm going to get a second copy of this. This is actually it's a second printing. So the first printing was. I'm going to try and get a first print of this.
Yeah, I'm kind of a stickler on that too. I like the first prints. It's
Yeah,
a
so
weird
my
thing.
second print is signed, but I'm going to get a first print, and if she comes across to UK next year to Thought Bubble, I'll get her to sign the first print. Yeah, so that and you know the cover is just great.
Yeah, it looks
So
cool.
she's fairly active. She's pretty prolific. She's clearly working. She's 40, so she's in her prime really. And she's just hit that sweet spot, especially for she was actually voted in 2015. She was voted the third best female comic artist ever. And she was also voted the 14th best female comic writer. And she was the only one to appear both on the artist and writer lists. So, that's Becky Cloonan, my artist of the week.
I will have to learn more about her. So that's definitely one I never heard of before. So it's kind of cool. It's always cool when you learn something new, right? So that's really great.
And a couple of months ago, I probably wouldn't have been able to tell you who Becky Cloonan was either. But because I was going up to Thought Bubble, I did some research into some of the people who were going to be there, especially some of the ones you wouldn't normally see at a UK comic conference, because she lives in Texas. She lives in Austin, Texas. So, how often she's going to come across to a UK Comic Con, I don't know. So, I started investigating her stuff. I saw some of her artwork, which I liked. She was really good on the horror panel with Tinian.
So how was Tinian, by the way?
He was really. I was not expecting him to be very pleasant. Sometimes these guys get a bit of an overblow, especially when they're successful.
He's
they
pretty
become a
popular
bit. Yeah, their ego gets a bit out of it, and but Tinian was. I went up and got some stuff signed from him and had a chat with him because I was asking him whether he was really the fourth James Tinian, and we had. He said yes. He said yeah. So I said your great grandfather was the first James Tinian. He said yes, and all the people in my family have got no imagination when it comes to naming their children.
That's the way my family is too. It's like there's so many like repeated names, but that's cool that he is James Tinian the Fourth. That's very strange.
Yeah, and I said to him, when you have a son, what are you going to call him? And he said James.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, he was
keep tradition.
He was really nice, very approachable. He did a little video for me. Yeah, so he was really good.
So I'll have So tell me when you post that Tinian one. I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah, so I got about 18 or 19 of the artists to say hi to me.
Wow,
on video. I know.
So,
and Becky was one of them. So when I edit this, I will put the little bit of Becky saying hi, Mark.
Did she say hi, Mark, in one of your other videos? Was that there was a woman
that was Danny. I think that was Danny who I used on one of the other videos. There's an artist called. I ran a competition for a signed book for my 150th subscriber, and this is what this is what the winner won, which was I think you entered, but you didn't win.
Yeah, I guess way too low. And now that we've sort of talked here, I would guess a different number.
Yeah. So this is the giveaway. So this is signed by Danny, who was really nice, and she could put a little heart on there. And also Dan Waters, who he's done some really good stuff, Coffin Bound, and he's currently doing a series. I don't know if you're reading it, called Homesick Pilots. Which
I've read Homesick Pilots. I like that.
Yeah, it's good. It's a horror thing.
It's a good series.
He's the writer of Homesick Pilots.
Mhm.
And I think they're partners as well. I'm not 100% sure, but
Yeah.
they've
Kind of weird
worked
to
a lot.
ask too.
I know they've worked a lot together.
Mhm.
So yeah, that was my giveaway. So yeah, I really enjoyed and none of them were charging for signing.
Yeah, that's really nice. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and some people were doing sketches. Some were charging for sketches, but most people would do you a sketch, a little
Yeah.
sketch.
Yeah, that's always cool. It adds something kind of to the comic, I think.
There was one guy who was from Italy. And he's really good. He was a really good artist. His English wasn't that good, and I bought. He'd edited a sort of independent, a sort of comics anthology magazine in Italy, so it's in Italian, and really nice. I liked it. Really nice artwork. And I said to him, "Oh, can you sign it for me?" And he said, "Oh yes, come back in half an hour." So I thought, right, okay. Anyway, when he came back, he'd done a full color sketch.
Oh wow!
In the comic, yeah, really good.
Wow, that's really amazing.
Yeah. So
I mean, some of them are really gracious. I find, like when you meet them, they're just so happy to have somebody that's interested in their art and stuff, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there were quite a few sort of small press people who were self-publishing, who of course are very pleased to talk to you, because hardly anybody knows them. But there were quite a lot of big names there, like James Tinian, Becky's quite a big name, Danny. There was also Ram V, who's currently doing Swamp Thing. He's just taking over Venom, I think. He was there. So and they were all prepared, happy to talk to you, and the queues weren't that bad. Tinian did have the biggest queue.
Yeah, I would have imagined. Yeah, he's super popular right now.
Yeah.
I remember when I went to Toronto Comic Con, Todd McFarlane was there, and the queue literally went the whole way around the whole building. It was like crazy. It's like I got into like one section where like it was the opposite side of the place where Todd McFarlane was on. I was like, what is this line for? I thought it was like for something nearby, right? But it was like, no, this is the halfway point for the for the Todd McFarlane line. It was like, oh my goodness. Actually, it was so funny though. At the end, everyone left, right? And they were kind of boxing up, and I just sort of walked over. Nobody was at the Todd McFarlane thing, and I just picked up like a Todd McFarlane sign thing. I paid like $15.
Oh wow, that was good.
Yeah.
And the time I found the best time to go was right at the end, because I was staying for 2 days. So in the morning it was absolutely chaos. It was really busy. There was long queues and everything. So I was there. I went back out. I went in and then went to out. Came back about 4 o'clock, 4:30, and the thing finished at 5. And virtually everybody had gone. And there was virtually nobody. The queue for Tinian was about 2 people. So I had 5 signed, and so I decided to get a couple more signed. So so that was the other trick I learned: is don't go first thing, go last thing.
Yeah, last thing. It's weird. Everyone wants to be there early, and then actually it's better to be there late. The late bird gets the worm.
Yeah, because it opened at 10, and I stopped that 9:45, and the queue was right. And I thought, and I'm not a big fan of queuing, so I thought, right, I'm going to go and get an English breakfast. So I went off, had breakfast for an hour, and came back, and then I got in no queue.
That's the way it should be. I'm not a big fan of lines either. So yeah. Oh well. So yeah. So thanks again. Part 2, which will be my half of the show, will be on your channel, and I will link that in the description. So stay tuned for that. I have a special artist that I'm going to be featuring. It's a little bit more well-known artist. But yeah, check that out on Mark's channel, and link will be in the description and somewhere on the screen. Thanks again, Mark. I never know where it is. Like,
thanks, Alan. Thanks for letting me come and talk on your channel again.
Okay.
Great, thank you. And I've got a little YouTube channel. Could you just say hello, Mark?
Hello, Mark.
This is Becky Clunan.
Oh, this